Adam's return and a life-changing secret in Genoa City.
Life in Genoa City is never calm for long, and right now, things are building toward another emotional storm that no one is fully prepared for. Adam Newman has been away, caught up in intense and dangerous situations in Las Vegas involving Matt Clark.
Those events have left a deeper mark on him than anyone realizes. Even after everything begins to settle, Adam is not the same person who left Genoa City.
Something inside him has shifted. He carries the weight of what he saw, what he did, and what he couldn't prevent. But as always, reality eventually pulls him back home. When Adam finally returns to Genoa City, he tries to slip back into his old life, but it doesn't work that easily. The city feels familiar, yet completely different at the same time. People have moved forward. Conversations have changed. And most importantly, secrets are waiting just beneath the surface. Adam may appear calm on the outside, but internally, he is still trapped in the mindset of survival. The Vegas experience has left him emotionally unsettled, almost like he's still living in that chaos. Every sound, every memory, seems to trigger something in him. However, the biggest shock is not from his past, it's from what is happening in the present. Because in Genoa City, life has moved forward in a way Adam never expected. Sally Spectret is about to deliver news that will completely shift the emotional balance between multiple people. Sally is currently involved with Billy Abbott, and things between them have been complicated but serious. Now, everything takes an even bigger turn when Sally discovers she is pregnant. At first, it starts with uncertainty, small signs that something is different. But soon, 2 positive tests confirm what she was beginning to suspect. Sally is expecting a child. This moment is not simple happiness. It comes with emotional layers, past memories, and unresolved feelings that cannot be ignored. For Sally, this pregnancy is both a blessing and a challenge. She has wanted stability, a fresh start, and a chance to build something meaningful in her life. But at the same time, this news connects her deeply to Billy Abbott in a permanent way. And that connection changes everything. Because Billy is not just any part of her past or present, he is tied to complicated history, emotional wounds, and shared struggles that never fully disappeared. But there is another layer to this story that cannot be ignored. Adam Newman. Adam and Sally once shared a deeply emotional connection, one that was built through pain, healing, and mutual understanding. They also shared one of the most heartbreaking experiences of their lives, the loss of baby Ava. That loss never fully leaves them. Even now, years later, the memory of Ava still lingers in subtle but powerful ways. For Sally, it resurfaces in unexpected emotional moments. For Adam, it becomes a quiet reminder of what he lost, what he failed to protect, and the emotional consequences of his past decisions. So when the truth about Sally's pregnancy eventually reaches Adam, it is not just news. It is emotional history reopening itself. At this point, Adam does not yet know what is coming. He is still adjusting after Vegas, still trying to find his balance again. But Genoa City has a way of pulling people into emotional storms without warning. And Sally's situation is about to do exactly that. Meanwhile, Sally is also dealing with her own internal conflict. She knows this pregnancy will become public knowledge soon, but she is thinking carefully about how and when to share the news. There is a part of her that feels Adam should hear it directly from her, not through gossip or outside sources. That decision is not easy. Because telling Adam means reopening emotional memories neither of them fully escaped from. Sally understands that Adam has a deep emotional connection to the idea of loss, responsibility, and unfinished pain. And she also knows that this news might trigger emotions he has tried hard to control. Still, she feels honesty is important. So she begins preparing herself for a conversation that could change everything once again. But what she doesn't fully realize is how strongly Adam will react, not in anger, but in reflection. Because for Adam, this moment will not just be about Sally and Billy. It will be about Ava. About fatherhood. About loss. And about the parts of his past that still quietly shape who he is today. Adam learns the truth and emotional fallout begins. As Adam Newman slowly starts settling back into Genoa City, he can already feel that something important is happening around him. It's not something obvious at first, it's more like an emotional tension in the air, the kind that builds before a major truth comes out. He notices it in small ways. The way people speak carefully around certain topics. The way conversations stop when he enters a room. The way Sally Spectra avoids giving full details when they talk casually. Adam has always been observant, and right now, his instincts are telling him something is off. But he doesn't yet know the full picture. At the same time, Sally is struggling with her own decision. She knows she cannot hide the truth forever. The pregnancy is real, confirmed, and growing more certain every day. The only question left is how and when to tell Adam. Sally is not trying to create drama. In fact, she wants the opposite. She believes Adam deserves honesty, especially because of their shared past and everything they went through together, including the painful memory of losing baby Ava. That memory is not something either of them ever fully escaped. So Sally makes a decision. She will tell Adam herself. Not through rumors. Not through chance. But directly, face to face. When Adam finally meets Sally in a private moment, there is an unusual silence between them. It's not uncomfortable exactly, but it is heavy. Both of them can feel that this conversation is not ordinary. Adam notices her expression first. She looks serious, but calm. There is no anger, no confusion, just certainty. That alone makes him cautious. He asks her if something is wrong. Sally hesitates for a moment, gathering her thoughts. She knows there is no easy way to say this. No perfect timing. No softer version of the truth. And then she says it. She tells Adam that she is pregnant. For a moment, everything around them feels like it slows down. Adam doesn't respond immediately. Not because he doesn't understand, but because he does. The meaning of her words sinks in instantly, and with it comes a wave of emotions he wasn't prepared for. Confusion. Shock. And something deeper, something tied to the past. His mind doesn't go straight to Billy Abbott or the current situation. Instead, it goes somewhere far more emotional. Baby Ava. The memory hits him quietly at first, but it grows stronger with each passing second. The pain, the loss, the unanswered questions, it all comes back in fragments. Sally notices the change in his expression immediately. She knows this reaction is not just about the present. It's about everything they went through before. She gently explains that she didn't want him to hear it from anyone else. She felt he deserved to know directly from her, given their history and what they shared emotionally in the past. Adam finally speaks, but his voice is controlled. He asks if the baby is Billy's. Sally confirms it. That confirmation changes the emotional weight of the moment even further. Now everything becomes layered, present reality mixed with unresolved history. Adam is not angry, but he is clearly processing something deep internally. Sally watches him carefully, worried not about his reaction in anger, but about his silence. Because Adam's silence is never empty. It is always filled with thoughts. After a long pause, Adam finally responds in a calmer tone. He tells Sally that he is not upset with her. In fact, he says something unexpected. He says he is happy for her. But it doesn't sound simple. It sounds complicated, like someone trying to balance emotion and acceptance at the same time. He tells her that no child can replace Ava. That is something that will always remain true for him. But he also acknowledges that life continues, and people deserve second chances at happiness and family. Sally listens carefully, clearly emotional but relieved that the conversation is not turning into conflict. Still, there is an unspoken reality between them. This baby connects Sally permanently to Billy Abbott. And Adam understands that better than anyone. Even if he has moved forward emotionally, that connection is something he cannot ignore. It changes the dynamic between all three of them moving forward. Sally then gently suggests that Billy will also need time to process everything, and that the situation is going to become more public very soon. Adam nods, acknowledging that reality. But internally, his thoughts are still far away, tied to memories, emotions, and moments from the past that he thought he had already buried.
Before the conversation ends, there is a final moment of quiet understanding between Adam and Sally. No arguments. No conflict. Just two people acknowledging that life has once again taken them in different directions. Sally leaves the conversation feeling relieved but emotional. Adam remains behind, still standing in silence, processing everything that was just revealed. And deep down, he knows this is only the beginning. Because once Genoa City learns the truth fully, nothing will stay the same. Billy's reaction, hidden tensions, and Adam's emotional struggle. After Sally Spectra's revelation, the emotional ripple in Genoa City starts spreading quietly but quickly. Even though the news is still being handled privately, it is only a matter of time before it affects everyone involved, especially Billy Abbott. Billy is not someone who reacts without emotion. He processes things deeply, sometimes impulsively, especially when it involves family and responsibility. So when he eventually learns that Sally is pregnant, his first reaction is a mix of shock and disbelief. For a brief moment, he struggles to fully absorb it. A baby. His baby. With Sally. The reality hits differently than anything else he has dealt with recently. This is not just a relationship development or a temporary situation. This is permanent. Life-changing. Irreversible. Billy tries to stay composed, but internally, his mind starts racing. He begins thinking about responsibility, timing, and what this means for his already complicated life. There is no simple path forward from here. At the same time, he also senses the emotional weight Sally must be carrying. She is not just delivering news, she is stepping into an entirely new chapter of her life. But there is another factor Billy cannot ignore. Adam Newman. Billy knows about Adam's history with Sally. He knows about the emotional connection they once shared. And even though things between Adam and Billy have evolved over time, there is still an underlying tension that never fully disappears. Now, with this pregnancy, that tension quietly returns. Not as open conflict, but as emotional awareness. Meanwhile, Adam is going through his own internal storm. After his conversation with Sally, he tries to move forward normally, but it is clear that his mind is not fully in the present. The news has triggered something inside him that he cannot easily control. Memories of baby Ava begin resurfacing again. Not in loud, dramatic flashes, but in subtle emotional fragments. A moment of silence. A feeling of loss. A memory of what could have been. Adam doesn't openly express it to others, but internally, he is struggling to separate past pain from present reality. Sally's pregnancy becomes a mirror reflecting everything he once lost. He keeps reminding himself that he has no right to interfere. That Sally's life has moved in a different direction. That this is not his story anymore. But emotions are not always logical. And Genoa City has never been a place where emotions stay hidden for long. Sally, on her side, begins noticing subtle shifts in both men. Billy is processing everything in his own way, trying to stay responsible and grounded. Adam, on the other hand, is quieter than usual, more introspective, more distant. She can feel the emotional distance growing, even if no one is saying it directly. This creates a complicated triangle of understanding, memory, and unspoken tension. One life is beginning. Two emotional histories are resurfacing. And none of them are fully prepared for what comes next. Billy eventually starts thinking about how this pregnancy will change his future. He knows he cannot ignore responsibility. At the same time, he also realizes that his connection with Sally is now permanently tied to something much bigger than either of them expected. There is no going back. Adam, meanwhile, tries to keep his emotions contained, but the weight of everything is still inside him. He doesn't express jealousy, and he doesn't create conflict, but he is deeply affected in a quiet, internal way. Especially when he thinks about Sally's words, that no child can replace what was lost, but life still moves forward. That idea stays with him. Because for Adam, moving forward has never been simple. It always comes with echoes from the past. And now, those echoes are getting louder again. As the three of them continue navigating this unexpected situation, it becomes clear that nothing will remain emotionally neutral for long. Every conversation carries meaning. Every silence carries tension.
Every decision carries consequences.
And in Genoa City, consequences always find their way back. Rising tension, unspoken rivalry, and emotional pressure builds.
As time passes in Genoa City, the situation surrounding Sally Spectra's pregnancy begins to feel less like a private matter and more like a quiet storm waiting to break into the open. Even though no one is openly fighting, the emotional pressure is becoming harder to hide. Between Adam Newman and Billy Abbott, things remain outwardly controlled, but underneath, there is a growing awareness between them that something has permanently changed.
Billy tries to stay focused on responsibility.
He keeps reminding himself that the priority is the baby and Sally's well-being. He does not want unnecessary conflict, especially not over something so serious. But at the same time, he cannot ignore the subtle tension he feels whenever Adam is around.
It is not direct hostility. It is something quieter. More psychological. A sense that history is standing in the same room with them. Adam, on the other hand, is doing everything he can to remain composed.
He is not trying to challenge Billy, and he is not trying to interfere in Sally's life.
But emotionally, things are not that simple.
Every time he sees Sally, he is reminded of the conversation they had the moment she told him she was pregnant. That moment stays with him more than he expected.
And behind that memory is something even deeper. Baby Ava.
That loss continues to exist in Adam's emotional background like a shadow he cannot fully step out of. He does not talk about it openly, but it influences how he reacts to everything now.
Especially anything involving fatherhood, responsibility, and emotional connection. Sally notices the change in atmosphere more clearly now.
She can feel that both men are adjusting in their own ways, but neither of them is completely at peace. She begins to feel the weight of being in the middle of two emotional histories.
On one side, Billy represents the present and future. On the other side, Adam represents the past and unresolved emotional depth.
And now, her pregnancy connects all of them in a way that cannot be undone. As the truth slowly prepares to become more widely known, pressure begins building around timing.
Sally knows it will not stay private forever. Genoa City has a way of uncovering secrets, no matter how carefully they are kept. This realization forces her into emotional stress. She wants to handle everything responsibly, but she also understands that once the news becomes public, reactions will multiply. Billy will have to deal with professional and personal consequences. Adam will have to face emotional triggers he has been trying to manage quietly. And Sally herself will be caught in the center of everything. At one point, Adam and Billy briefly cross paths again in a neutral setting. There is no confrontation, no argument, but there is a moment of silence that says more than words ever could. They acknowledge each other with polite distance, but the emotional history between them is still present in the background. Neither of them speaks about Sally directly, but both understand the unspoken reality. Something significant is unfolding. Something that will permanently connect all three of them. Later, Adam finds himself alone again, reflecting on everything that has happened. His thoughts drift back to Sally's words once more. "You deserve to know." That simple sentence keeps echoing in his mind. Not because of anger, but because of meaning. He begins to understand that Sally's decision was not about drama or complication.
It was about honesty, responsibility, and emotional closure in a situation that has no easy closure. Still, closure is not something that comes easily in Adam's world. Especially when emotions are involved. Especially when loss is part of the memory. And especially when the future is now connected to people he can no longer define his place in. As this emotional tension continues building, it becomes clear that everything is moving toward a turning point. The truth cannot stay quiet much longer. And once it comes out fully, every relationship involved will be tested in ways none of them are fully ready for. The truth comes out, emotional breakthrough, and a new chapter begins.
The quiet tension that has been building in Genoa City around Sally Spectra's pregnancy finally reaches its breaking point.
What was once a private truth is no longer something that can remain hidden. Word begins to spread. Slowly at first, then all at once. And just like that, the situation shifts from personal to public.
People start reacting. Questions begin forming.
And the emotional balance between Adam Newman, Billy Abbott, and Sally Spectra becomes even more fragile.
Sally feels the impact immediately. Even though she tried to control the timing of the revelation, Genoa City has its own way of exposing secrets.
Now she is forced to face the consequences of something that was meant to be handled privately. Billy's reaction becomes more serious when the situation is no longer just about him and Sally, it becomes about perception, responsibility, and how this will affect every part of his life going forward. He does not panic, but he becomes more focused than ever.
This is no longer just emotional, it is real-world responsibility now. Adam, on the other hand, reacts differently. He does not explode. He does not create conflict. Instead, he becomes quieter. More internal.
The public confirmation of Sally's pregnancy hits him in a deeper emotional place than he expected. It is no longer just a conversation or a private moment, it is reality being acknowledged by everyone.
And that makes everything feel more permanent. For Adam, this triggers another emotional wave connected to baby Ava.
This time, the memory does not come in fragments.
It comes fully. The sense of loss. The unanswered what if. The emotional weight of fatherhood that was taken away from him in the past. It all rises again, stronger than before. But something is different this time. Instead of breaking him down completely, it forces reflection.
Adam begins to understand his emotions more clearly, not as anger or regret, but as unresolved pain that has never truly been addressed. Sally, watching both men from a distance, starts to realize how deeply this situation has affected them. Billy is stepping into responsibility with seriousness, preparing mentally for what is coming next in his life.
Adam, meanwhile, is processing something far more emotional and personal. There is no simple explanation for what he feels. It is not jealousy. It is not conflict. It is memory. It is loss. And it is acceptance trying to form inside him. At one point, Adam and Sally share another brief conversation. This time, there is less shock and more understanding. The emotional weight is still there, but both of them are trying to find stability in a situation that has changed everything. Sally reassures Adam that she never intended to hurt him with the truth. She simply wanted honesty between them.
Adam acknowledges that, and for the first time, there is a sense of emotional closure beginning to form, not complete, but present. Billy, meanwhile, begins making internal decisions about his role moving forward. He understands that his connection to Sally will now be permanent through the child. Whatever emotional history exists, it will now always be part of their shared reality. There is no escaping that. As the situation stabilizes slightly, the emotional storm does not disappear, but it shifts. What once felt like chaos begins turning into acceptance. Adam reaches a quiet realization. Sally is not part of his future in the way she once might have been emotionally, but she will always be part of his past in a meaningful way. And that past shaped him. Especially through Ava. That memory will never fully disappear, but now it becomes something he can carry without letting it control him completely. Billy accepts that his life is changing in a very real way. Responsibility is no longer theoretical, it is happening. And Sally stands in the middle of everything, trying to balance emotion, truth, and the future she is now building. In the end, nothing returns to how it was before. But something new begins. Not peace. Not resolution. But understanding. And in Genoa City, that is often the closest thing to closure anyone ever gets.